Hi, this is a quick review of mine for the Samsung Galaxy Note. Now, before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and press the power button here so y'all can see how fast the phone comes on as compared to the current telephone that you may have. Start time on this phone is, I had a Samsung Infuse, and this phone starts up a lot faster than the Samsung Infuse. Just some short little background about the Samsung Galaxy Note. It has the 3G, 4G, and 4G LTE connectivity through AT&T. It runs on the Android 2.3.6 Gingerbread operating system. It has the Qualcomm 1.5 GHz dual-core processor, a beautiful 5.3-inch HD Super AMOLED WXVGA touchscreen display that shows a 1280 by 800 resolution. There's 16 gigabytes of internal memory, expandable up to 32 gigabytes with a micro SD card that'll plug into the back by the battery. Has an 8 megapixel camera that will do full HD 1080p video capture. Has a wonderful GPS navigation in it. It has wireless in Wi-Fi, stereo Bluetooth 3.0 compliant. It can do personal and corporate email. Battery standby time's about 10.4 days. Talk time's about 10 hours. And like I said earlier, the service is provided with from AT&T. And it does come with a gyroscope that is also built into the telephone. Now, Gingerbread is what's on the phone now. It's supposed to be coming out with Ice Cream Sandwich. It was rumored to be coming out here on March 1st. It's now March the 8th. Hopefully it'll be coming out soon. One thing that Samsung is famous for, and that is not hurrying updates out to their telephone. Now, I do have a custom screen here on the front. This is not the stock that comes with it. One of the first things I want to show you, though, I want to get right back in here to the applications, and we'll just get right down to it because we're interested, or I'm interested in how fast the telephone performs. So I have my quadrant and standard. This measures the speed of the CPU that's in there. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to choose run the full benchmark, and you'll see the telephone as it goes through its phases here, running benchmark. Now, this here really it's not really a cell phone. It's too small to be called a tablet. Some people are calling it a phablet, which is half phone and half tablet. The phone does easily fit in one hand. If you're a female, maybe not so much so. Using this cell phone, I can pick up the Galaxy Note, and I can use one hand to do text messaging with. It does fit into my pant pocket okay. For the shirt pocket, maybe the top, like maybe 1/3 of an inch to a ½ inch does stick out of my top pocket a little bit. So now this telephone obviously isn't for everybody. If you're worried about the big size of the telephone, then it's probably not for you. I put my school books on it, and my school notes that the teachers give us, the lecture notes. I scan them into PDF format, and I put them in my phone. And whenever I turn on the phone, I turn it sideways in landscape or portrait. It doesn't matter. I could always read the notes. We'll get into the little stylus here that the phone has in just a little bit. Now we have our benchmark test here, and it says through. Do we want to proceed? Yes. And then it'll come up with our benchmark standards. Our device is right here up on top. That shows that we're the fastest, followed by the Samsung Galaxy Tab, the Galaxy Nexus, and the Samsung Nexus. I'll turn this around here so I can read it. It says the total number was 2370. The CPU was 4341. It is a pretty fast phone. If you have a single core processor phone and you're wondering if this phone's really going to make a big difference as far as like startup time and how long you have to wait for your apps to function from the time you actually activate them, the phone is super, super quick as compared to a single core processor. There, I'll just go back to the home screen now. As you can tell, well, you may not be able to tell because this YouTube video doesn't have the best clarity. But if you notice down here, whenever I went from the apps, there we go. You'll see that these lights do come on. It's kind of nice, especially in the dark, to be able to see where your home screen is and your return and your search. Also, whenever you're using the phone with the Samsung Car Dock and you're driving down the street, these four bottom buttons, they stay illuminated for you. It makes it easier whenever you're driving down the street at night. You got to try to find that home key or that back key in order to get to some more information while you are driving. Now, I did say I would show you the stylus. So if we flip our telephone over, we got our stylus right here. And unfortunately, I haven't really found a good use for the stylus for this thing yet. Every once in a while, I may pull it out and jot a quick note, because sometimes it's easier, if you need to take a note, it's easier to do it this way than to pull up, go into my apps and pull up the memo and then type it out. But I can go in here to my little S memo. You can tap it, or you can hold the gray button down here and then tap the screen twice. It's a little bit slow that way. You can go over here, you can hit your little crayon or the pen over here at the top, and you can do your writing there. Part I like is I love this little eraser that's on it. And you just go ahead and erase everything out. Whenever you're done, you can save it or you can cancel. I'll just give you an example here to show you what it looks like saved. You really don't get to put a name on your well, in this case we're going to call it artwork. Probably can't see that too well, but I just made scribbles on it. You go over here and you press the save button and then it saves it. Now, if you can look up here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but, oops. Oh, sorry about that. We're just turning it to silent mode. Here's the picture of the scribbles that I made. You really can't see it very well because of the lighting in here. So you don't really give it a file name, so you have to be able to physically look at what you drew or the note that you wrote, and then it pops back up, and then we'll go ahead and choose delete, and we'll get this here off the telephone, and then it says OK and asks you if you want to delete it. You just choose OK. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead here and turn the telephone off, hit OK there, and put the stylus back in. I want to show you the battery cover back here and how to take the battery on and off. The back cover here on and off. It's not the easiest thing to take on and off. Fortunately, it's not a problem because we don't take our covers off very often. It is fairly thin. It's really pliable. So you have to treat it with a little bit of loving care whenever you're taking it on and off the phone, or you'll be looking to buy a new one pretty soon. This is the back inside of the telephone. If you look down here, we have a little speaker right there. That's the speaker output for the phone. It is fairly quiet. It's not bad whenever you're making a voice call while you're driving hands-free if you don't have a Bluetooth earphone. But with all this landscape over here that was left over when they added the battery, you'd think that maybe they would have put in a little bit larger microphone. Here's where our micro SD card sits in. Our SIM card fits right in there. This is our 8 megapixel camera and the LED flash. We'll flip it over here for you. We'll see on one side we have the rocker panel for our volume, and on the other side right here there's our power button. They sit fairly flush with the unit. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this back on. I got the Samsung desktop dock for it right there. The Samsung desktop dock for it. Now, one thing to note about this little desktop dock is it does not provide any connectivity between your computer and your telephone. So if you need to hook your telephone up to your computer, you're still going to have to do it the old-fashioned way by putting that micro USB inside of it. But if we look at it real closely here, you'll see here we got our little micro USB. Got a little backrest here for the telephone. Here a little side view of it. There's nothing really on the side of it. Now on the back of it here, wait for this thing to get back into focus. On the back of it here, there is the micro USB for the charger and a 3.5 millimeter stereo jack here in the back. Here's the other side of it so you can see what it looks like and a little bit of a top view of it. Now all we have to do now is we just need to put our telephone inside of our dock. Now this here is sometimes it can be problematic at best. It doesn't really line up well if you put your phone all the way here onto the back rest and you slide it in. The phone does not engage on the micro USB. So you got to kind of mess with it, and this part I don't like about their dock is you have to. Sorry, I got to take the phone out of here to hook it all up. There we go. Okay, you do have to kind of take it off. The reason being is here. Let me turn this around. There's a little bit of play, as you can see, with that rest where the phone sits. So it's kind of a hassle to get the phone to fit on there. Now you would think with this nice little space that they put in the back that you'd be able to use like a TPU case on it and still hook the telephone up onto your charger and have it work. That is not the case. If you try to use a case with your telephone, it won't work at all. Now, a nice little set of software does open up with this once we get it fired up here. That works nicely with the dock. It allows you to use the cell phone in the dock as an alarm clock, which is kind of well, if you need a night light while you're sleeping, that may be a wonderful item for you to use. The phone is really too bright to use that way. So we have the alarm clock. You could also talk to the telephone and have it search for things. You could fire up some music while you're using it. You could also use it as a digital photo picture frame. I keep crashing some type of a program. Let's go in there and see what it is. All in all, the telephone, though, it does work fairly well. If you gotta first go down to the store and look at it to see if you really want to buy it. I wouldn't buy it just offhand without going to look at it. Currently, the phone sells for $299 at AT&T, and Amazon does have them for $249.99 on the Amazon website currently. Keep your eye open. People are bound to have specials, and eventually the phone will be going down in price. One thing I do want to bring up about the desktop dock is whenever it's docked in here, the light does not go off. It stays on all the time. Your time, date, and temperature, it will show up here at the top, then at the middle, then at the bottom, so it's always moving around a little bit. All right, well, if you have any comments or questions about this video or about the telephone, please leave them at the bottom there, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you.